All right, so you're getting ready for a hospitality establishment security officer interview, and let's be real, interviews can be a little scary.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're diving into these RoleCatcher resources to try to help you walk in feeling ready for anything.
Absolutely.
It's like getting a sneak peek at the test before you take it.
Exactly. We've got their guides and sample questions right here, so we're going to break down what interviewers are really looking for, and we'll sprinkle in some career insights along the way.
I like that.
Yep.
So you not only nail the interview, but you can actually thrive in this field.
That's the goal.
Okay, before we even get to the questions, though, let's just set the stage.
Right.
When we say hospitality establishment security officer, it's not just a regular security guard, right?
Right.
What does RoleCatcher say makes this role unique?
Well, what's interesting here is it's a mix of security expertise with, honestly, top-notch customer service skills.
Oh, interesting.
You're ensuring everyone's safety and security within a hotel, a resort, or even a casino. And you have to do it while also creating a positive guest experience.
That's a lot to juggle.
It is.
No wonder RoleCatcher really stresses being proactive, not just reactive.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into those top 10 interview questions they highlight.
Okay.
First up, what experience do you have in the security industry?
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Uh-huh.
But is it really just about listing your past jobs?
Not quite. It's your chance to really showcase your passion for security, even if your background isn't a perfect match.
Okay.
You know, did you volunteer for a neighborhood watch program?
Oh, yeah.
Have you taken a first aid or CPR course?
Well,
Even those things that seem unrelated, they show that you are thinking about safety.
that's a good point. And RoleCatcher's AI can actually help tailor your resume
Yes.
to emphasize those skills.
Exactly.
It's like your resume is a spotlight, and
Yeah.
the AI helps you point it at what the employer really cares about.
Yes. Exactly.
So picture this follow-up question.
Okay.
Tell me about a time you went above and beyond
Yeah.
to ensure someone's safety.
Ooh.
Now we're digging for that proactive mindset. Do you have a specific example where you didn't just follow protocol, but you really took initiative?
That's where having a good story can make you stand out.
Okay, question number 2. How do you handle difficult or confrontational situations?
Okay.
And this is something to think about. Things can get heated in hospitality.
Oh, yeah.
Guests can be demanding situations, can escalate quickly. How do you even prepare for that curveball?
Well, first you've got to recognize that they're looking for de-escalation skills.
Okay,
Don't just say, I'm a calm person.
right.
Walk them through a specific conflict that you resolved successfully. What were the steps you took? What was the outcome?
Show them, don't tell them.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher emphasizes using that STAR method situation task action result to really structure your answers.
Right, paint a picture for them.
Yes.
And I think it's important to remember that a frustrated guest needs a different approach than, say, a colleague who's not following safety procedures.
That's right.
The interviewer wants to see you can adapt.
Yes.
Now, how would RoleCatcher's AI help with this kind of question?
Well, picture practicing your answer using their AI-powered video interview tool,
Oh, cool.
and it analyzes your body language,
Yeah.
your tone, even your word choices.
Wow.
And it can help you project that calm, in-control demeanor that they're looking for.
It's like having a personal coach, but for interviews.
Exactly.
Okay, question number 3, and I think this one's big.
Yeah.
How would you handle a security breach or emergency situation?
Okay.
This feels high stakes.
It is, safety is paramount in this role, and they want to see you stay cool under pressure.
Right.
Walk them through a hypothetical scenario, maybe a fire alarm, a suspicious package, a medical emergency,
Okay.
and show that you can assess, prioritize, and act decisively while making sure that everyone is safe.
And don't forget about those emergency response procedures that are in RoleCatcher.
Yes.
Those are gold.
Yes, they are.
Now, speaking of career insights, RoleCatcher mentions that there is potential for growth in this field.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. So starting as a security officer is often that first step, but from there, you could move up to supervisor manager, even director of security.
Wow.
Each level has more responsibility, from leading teams to shaping security protocols for the entire property.
That's amazing. So it's not just a job, it's a potential career path.
It is.
Okay, back to those questions. Number 4, how do you maintain a safe and secure environment for both guests and staff?
Okay.
What are they really getting at here?
This is where it gets interesting. They're looking for that proactive mindset again.
Okay.
How do you identify potential risks before anything happens?
Before it even happens.
Yeah. Think regular patrols, being observant, knowing the layout and vulnerabilities of the property like the back of your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not just reacting to incidents, but
Right.
preventing them in the first place?
Exactly.
And how would you tailor those preventative measures to different areas? I'm thinking of the pool area versus the hotel lobby. They have very different risks.
Yeah, exactly. The interviewer wants to see that you understand those nuances of a hospitality environment.
Okay.
Now, speaking of RoleCatcher's AI, their resume builder could be a game changer here.
Okay.
It can analyze your experience and highlight those skills and actions that show your proactive approach.
So your resume really stands out.
Yes.
Okay. Question number 5. How do you handle confidential or sensitive information?
All right.
Discretion seems like it's a really big part of this line of work.
It is.
What kind of scenarios are we talking about?
Think guest records, incident reports, security protocols, anything that could compromise someone's safety or privacy if it's mishandled. You need to show that you understand the weight of that responsibility.
Wow. So it's not just about knowing the rules, it's about showcasing your integrity and your judgment.
Right.
How would you respond to a question like, what would you do if you found a guest's personal information left unattended?
Ooh, that's a good one. They're testing your commitment to those ethical boundaries. Walk them through your process, emphasize security protocols, and the steps you would take to make sure that information is protected.
So it's all about showing you take that responsibility seriously.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to question number 6.
All right. This one asks, how do you stay up to date on the latest security trends and technologies?
Ooh.
And this is where you prove you're not just relying on what you learned years ago, but you're actively seeking to learn and grow.
So how do you show that commitment? Do you read industry publications, attend conferences, take online courses?
Be specific. Mention those publications by name, like Security Management Magazine or the Hospitality Security Report. Highlight any certifications that you have, like the CPP or the CHSS. They both show you're serious about your professional development.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help here too.
Yes.
Their platform can connect you with courses, certifications, even mentors to help you grow.
Exactly. Think of it as your own personal career development roadmap.
I love that. All right, on to question number 7. How do you work with other departments and stakeholders to ensure a safe and secure environment?
Okay.
So you're not working in a vacuum in this role, are you?
Definitely not. You'll be interacting with everyone from the front desk staff to housekeeping to maintenance, even local law enforcement.
Wow.
Teamwork and communication are key.
So how do you showcase that collaborative spirit in an interview?
Give them a concrete example. Tell a story about a time you had to work with another department to resolve a security concern. Maybe you collaborated with the maintenance team to improve lighting in a vulnerable area, or worked with the front desk to implement a new security protocol for checking guest IDs.
That's a great way to make your answer come alive.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of those career paths, RoleCatcher emphasizes the importance of networking in this field.
Huh?
And they're saying it's not just about attending industry events, it's about actively building those connections.
Exactly. Building relationships with other security professionals can open doors to new opportunities, provide valuable mentorship, and keep you informed on all the industry trends. It's about sharing knowledge, supporting each other, and creating that strong network within the field.
And they suggest using platforms like LinkedIn to connect with people.
Yeah.
Join industry groups and participate in discussions.
Absolutely. It's about being proactive and engaging with that wider security community, both online and offline.
Okay, back to those questions. Number 8. What steps do you take to prevent security incidents from occurring?
All right.
This seems to tie back into that proactive mindset we've been talking about.
It absolutely does. This is your chance to shine as that security professional who isn't just reacting to incidents, but actively working to prevent them.
Okay.
Think about routine tasks like checking fire extinguishers, testing alarm systems, patrolling the property, being observant, noticing anything that's out of place, knowing the layout of the property like the back of your hand. All of these things might seem small, but they can make a huge difference in preventing those incidents.
So those seemingly small things really add up.
They do. You're the eyes and ears of the establishment, and your vigilance can prevent a minor issue from becoming a major incident.
Now let's talk about some potential vulnerabilities that RoleCatcher mentions.
Okay.
They highlight things like poorly lit areas, unsecured entrances, or even just areas with a lot of foot traffic. How do those things factor into preventing incidents?
That's a crucial point. It's not just about being vigilant, it's about identifying those weak points and taking steps to address them. Maybe suggest installing additional lighting, implementing access control measures, or increasing security presence in those high-risk areas.
So it's about being proactive, not just in your actions, but in your thinking.
Exactly.
You're constantly assessing and analyzing the environment to find potential threats and implement solutions.
Precisely. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be so valuable. Imagine using their platform to access up-to-date information on security, best practices, case studies of successful prevention strategies, and even tools to help you conduct risk assessments and develop those customized security plans.
It's like having a virtual security consultant.
It is.
Okay, let's tackle question number 9. How do you handle a situation where a guest or staff member is behaving inappropriately or violating hotel policies?
Okay.
This feels like it could be tricky.
It definitely requires a delicate balance.
Yeah.
You're enforcing hotel policies, but you also have to maintain a positive guest experience and make sure everyone is safe.
Right.
It's about being firm, but fair, professional, but approachable.
Right. You don't want to come across as like heavy-handed,
No.
but you do need to uphold those standards.
Yes.
How
Right.
would you approach a guest who's being disruptive at the pool, for example?
In that scenario, I would start by calmly and politely addressing the guest and explaining the hotel's policies and why those rules are in place.
Okay.
It's about educating them and encouraging their cooperation.
But what if they're not receptive to your approach? What if they start arguing or become confrontational?
That's where those de-escalation techniques come into play.
Okay.
It's about remaining calm, listening actively, and trying to understand their perspective.
Uh-huh.
You might offer alternative solutions or involve a supervisor if the situation needs it.
So it's about having that range of responses from gentle reminders to more assertive actions, depending on what's going on.
Exactly. And it's important to document everything thoroughly by following the hotel's incident reporting procedures.
Right, because that documentation can be really crucial if there are legal issues down the line.
Yes, it is.
Okay, we're on to the final question in this set.
All right. This one focuses on the legal side of things. How do you ensure that all security measures are in compliance with local regulations and laws?
Okay.
This shows the interviewer that you understand that security isn't just about common sense.
Right.
It's also about operating within a legal framework.
So it's not enough to just be aware of those laws and regulations.
Right.
You need to be able to show that you can actively implement them
Yes,
and make sure the facility is in compliance.
exactly.
How would you approach that challenge?
First, I'd make sure I was familiar with all the relevant laws, regulations, and licensing requirements for my specific area. That might involve researching local ordinances, maybe consulting with legal counsel, or joining those industry organizations that provide updates on those legal changes.
Right. Those professional organizations can be such valuable resources.
They are.
They can keep you informed about any new laws or guidelines that might impact your work.
Exactly.
And imagine this, you're prepping for this interview, you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all those regulations, and you can use RoleCatcher's AI to access a database of local regulations, track compliance deadlines, and even get alerts when new laws are enacted.
Yes,
It's like having a virtual compliance officer on your team,
it is.
so you're always in the loop.
Right.
All right, that wraps up the first 5 of RoleCatcher's top 10 interview questions.
Okay.
I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From really showcasing your passion for security to navigating those tricky hypothetical scenarios.
We have.
And we've even seen how RoleCatcher's AI can be a really powerful tool, not only for tailoring your resume and practicing your interview skills, but also for guiding your professional growth and making sure you're operating within that legal framework.
It's about giving you the tools you need to not just land the job, but excel in this really dynamic and rewarding field.
So what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
Let's dive into that next set of questions and see what other insights RoleCatcher has to offer.
Let's go.
All right, welcome back.
We're back.
We are continuing our deep dive into acing that hospitality establishment security officer interview
Yes, we are.
using these fantastic RoleCatcher resources that you've provided.
We've already tackled 5 of those top 10 interview questions.
We have.
Now we're on to the next batch, ready to arm you with even more insights and strategies.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So question number 6 is, how do you stay up to date on the latest security trends and technologies?
This is where you show that you're not just knowledgeable, but that you are committed to constantly learning and evolving in this field.
It's about showing that proactive mindset.
Yes.
Right? You're not just relying on what you learned 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Exactly.
You're actively seeking out new information, staying ahead of the curve.
Right.
So how do you showcase that commitment?
Okay, well, don't just say, I read industry publications.
Right.
Be specific. Mention publications by name, like Security Management Magazine or the Hospitality Security Report.
Oh.
Talk about relevant websites or blogs that you follow.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe podcasts that you listen to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And don't forget about those conferences and training opportunities.
Yes. Those are so valuable.
Those are great ways to network, learn from experts, and really immerse yourself in what's happening in the industry.
Absolutely. And attending those events shows initiative, which is a huge plus for any employer.
Exactly. Now, speaking of staying ahead of the curve, RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can.
So imagine using their platform to personalize your professional development.
Yes.
The AI can analyze your current skills, your interests, and then suggest courses, certifications, even potential mentors to help guide your growth.
That's right. It's like having your own personalized career roadmap.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to question number 7. This one focuses on teamwork and collaboration.
Right.
How do you work with other departments and stakeholders to ensure a safe and secure environment? So you're not operating in a silo in this role, are you?
Definitely not.
Yep.
A hospitality establishment security officer is constantly interacting with other departments.
Right.
Front desk, housekeeping maintenance, local law enforcement, effective communication, and a collaborative spirit are essential.
So how do you show those qualities in an interview setting? It's not enough to just say, I'm a team player, right?
Right. You need to give them concrete examples. Tell a story about a time you successfully collaborated with another department to address a security concern. Maybe you worked with maintenance to improve lighting in a vulnerable area, or teamed up with the front desk to implement a new procedure for verifying guest IDs.
Oh, that's good.
You know?
Yeah, those real-life examples bring your answer to life.
They do.
They show you can walk the walk,
Yes.
not just talk the talk.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of real-life experience, RoleCatcher's Career Guide really highlights the importance of networking in this field.
It does.
And they're saying it's not just about attending industry events, but it's about actively building those connections.
That's right. Building relationships with other security professionals can open doors to new opportunities, provide valuable mentorship, and keep you informed about industry trends. It's about sharing knowledge, supporting each other, and creating that strong network within the field.
And they even suggest using online platforms like LinkedIn to connect with people, join industry groups, and participate in discussions.
Absolutely. It's about being proactive and engaging with that wider security community,
Right.
both online and offline.
Okay, back to those interview questions. Question number 8 is all about prevention.
Okay.
What steps do you take to prevent security incidents from occurring? This feels like your chance to show off those proactive skills that we've been talking about.
It is. Think about those routine tasks that are essential for maintaining a safe and secure environment.
Okay.
Checking fire extinguishers, testing alarm systems, patrolling the property, being observant,
Okay.
knowing the layout inside and out. All of these things may seem small, but they can make a huge difference in preventing incidents.
So those seemingly small things really add up.
They do.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's about being vigilant, anticipating those potential risks, and taking steps to mitigate them before they become a problem.
Now, RoleCatcher also talks about identifying potential vulnerabilities.
Yes.
They mention things like poorly lit areas, unsecured entrances, or even just areas with a lot of foot traffic that might be more susceptible to incidents.
Yeah.
How do those factor into preventing security breaches?
That's a great question. It's about recognizing that prevention isn't just about actions, it's also about awareness and analysis. You need to be able to look at the environment and identify those weak points.
Okay.
Maybe it's a door that's often left propped open.
Right.
Or a blind spot in the camera coverage.
Okay. So you're constantly assessing, evaluating, looking for ways to improve those security measures and really make the property as safe as possible.
Precisely. And this is where those security technologies and trends that we talked about earlier come in.
Right.
Maybe you suggest upgrading the lighting, installing access control systems, or implementing new surveillance technology.
Yep.
You're bringing your knowledge to the table and actively contributing to that safer environment.
That's impressive. And speaking of technology, RoleCatcher's AI can be valuable here too. Imagine using their platform to conduct risk assessments, develop those security plans, and even access case studies of successful prevention strategies.
It's like having a virtual security consultant to guide your decision-making.
Okay, on to question number 9. How do you handle a situation where a guest or staff member is behaving inappropriately or violating hotel policies? Now, this feels like a tricky one.
It does. It requires a delicate balance, for sure.
It's not always easy to enforce the rules while also maintaining that positive guest experience.
It's not,
Yeah.
right? Think about different scenarios and how your approach might change.
Okay.
How would you handle a guest who is being disruptive at the pool?
Oh, good one.
What about a guest who's refusing to wear a mask in a mandatory mask zone?
Okay.
How would your response be different if you were dealing with an employee who's violating a safety protocol?
Those were all great questions to consider.
It's about having that range of responses from, a gentle reminder to a more assertive intervention,
Right.
depending on the situation.
Right.
And remember, it's always about maintaining that calm and professional demeanor,
Right.
even when you're dealing with those difficult people. Those de-escalation skills that we talked about are so important. You want to resolve that situation peacefully and effectively whenever possible.
And documenting the incident thoroughly is important too.
Yes, it is. Following those hotels' incident reporting procedures is crucial.
Okay.
It creates a record of what happened, which can be very valuable for liability purposes or if further action is needed.
Okay, we're on to the final question in RoleCatcher's Top 10.
All right. This one focuses on the legal side of things. How do you ensure that all security measures are in compliance with local regulations and laws?
Okay.
This highlights the legal aspect of the role, showing the interviewer that you understand that security isn't just about common sense, but it's also about operating within that legal framework.
So it's not enough to just be aware of those laws and regulations. Yeah. You need to show that you can actively implement them.
That's right.
And make sure that facility is in compliance.
Exactly.
So where do you even begin to approach this question?
Okay, well, first I would highlight that I was familiar with all the relevant laws, regulations, and licensing requirements specific to my area.
Okay.
That might involve researching local ordinances, consulting with legal counsel, or joining industry organizations that provide updates on those legal changes.
Right, because those professional organizations are invaluable resources.
They are.
They keep you in the know about any new laws or guidelines that might impact your work.
Exactly. And imagine this, you're prepping for your interview, you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all those regulations.
Yeah.
You can use RoleCatcher's AI to access a database of local regulations, track those compliance deadlines, and even get alerts when new laws are enacted.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a virtual compliance officer on your team to make sure that you are always in the loop.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
So we've covered all 10 of RoleCatcher's top interview questions for the hospitality establishment security officer position. We've explored everything from showcasing your passion for security, to navigating those tricky hypothetical scenarios, to ensuring compliance with local laws. But before we wrap up, I'd love to touch on one more thing that RoleCatcher emphasizes in their career: guide the pros and cons of this career path.
That's a great point. It's important to go into any career with a realistic understanding of both the rewards and the challenges.
Exactly. So what does RoleCatcher highlight as potential benefits of this field?
Well, they talk about the high demand for skilled security professionals in the hospitality industry. Hotels, resorts, casinos, they all need dedicated people to ensure the safety and security of their guests and staff.
Right.
So job stability is definitely a plus.
That's good to know. And we've already touched on the potential for career growth.
Yes.
With those opportunities to move up from entry-level positions to supervisory or managerial roles.
Absolutely. And for those who are passionate about safety and security, this work can be incredibly rewarding.
Right. You're playing a vital role in creating that safe and welcoming environment.
Yes, you are.
Okay. But as with any career, there are challenges too.
Yeah.
What does RoleCatcher say about the potential downsides?
Well, they're pretty upfront about the fact that the work can be demanding, often involving irregular hours, including nights, weekends, and holidays.
Oh, right.
You might be dealing with some difficult or even dangerous situations. Wow. So it's not a job for everyone.
So it requires a certain level of resilience.
It does.
And a genuine commitment to this kind of work.
Yeah, absolutely. But for those who are up to the challenge, a career as a hospitality establishment security officer can be both fulfilling and impactful.
That's a great way to sum it up.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up this deep dive, let's just recap some of the key takeaways from RoleCatcher's resources.
All right. First and foremost, preparation is key.
Yes.
For any job interview.
Yes.
But especially for a position like this, take the time to thoroughly review those sample questions. Craft your responses and practice your delivery.
Right. And don't forget about those AI-powered tools that RoleCatcher has.
Yes, they are fantastic.
They can help you tailor your resume to really highlight your key skills and experiences.
Yeah.
Practice your interview skills with personalized feedback. And even stay informed about the latest security trends and regulations.
It's about utilizing all the resources at your disposal.
Yes.
To put your best foot forward and shine in that interview.
And as you embark on this career journey, remember this, you're not just protecting people and property.
Right.
You're creating a welcoming and secure environment where everyone can relax, enjoy themselves, and feel truly at ease. That's the power of a skilled and dedicated hospitality establishment security officer.
Welcome back. We've covered so much already, from understanding what it really means to be a hospitality establishment security officer to exploring those career paths and the importance of networking.
And those interview questions.
Yes, we even tackled those first 9 of RoleCatcher's top 10 interview questions.
Yeah. I feel like we've given our listeners a real advantage going into that interview.
I hope so.
But we've got one more question to cover, and it's a big one.
Okay.
How do you ensure that all security measures are in compliance with local regulations and laws?
All right, this question is so important because it shows that interviewer that you understand that security, it's not just about common sense or gut feelings.
Right.
It's about really operating within that legal framework,
Right.
protecting
Yeah.
yourself,
Right.
the property,
Yeah.
and everyone who's on the premises.
So it's not enough to just say, I know the laws.
No.
They want to see that you can put them into practice.
Yeah.
Make sure everything is running smoothly from a legal perspective.
Exactly.
How would you approach that challenge?
Okay, well, first, I would emphasize that I'm familiar with all the relevant laws, regulations, licensing requirements that are specific to my area.
Okay.
That might involve researching local ordinances, maybe even consulting with legal counsel just to be extra sure, or even joining industry organizations like ACES International.
Right, because those organizations are like your direct line to the latest developments and best practices.
They are. They often provide training webinars, publications that keep you up to date.
And imagine this, you're prepping for this interview, feeling a little overwhelmed by all those regulations.
Yeah.
And you can use RoleCatcher's AI to create a personalized compliance checklist.
Yes.
It could pull up local ordinances, track deadlines for renewals, even send you alerts when new laws come out.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a legal assistant dedicated to keeping you in the loop.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, so we've now covered all 10 of RoleCatcher's top interview questions for this position.
Yes, we have.
We've discussed crafting those answers using the STAR method, tailoring your answers to the hospitality environment, and we even talked about using RoleCatcher's AI for personalized feedback.
Right.
But before we wrap up this deep dive, is there anything else our listeners should keep in mind as they prepare for this interview?
One thing that really stands out from RoleCatcher's guide is their emphasis on mindset.
Okay.
It's not just about memorizing answers.
Right.
It's about showcasing that passion for safety and security, that proactive approach, and that commitment to always keep learning and growing.
It's about showing them you're not just there for a job.
Exactly.
You're there to build a career
Yes.
and make a difference.
And remember, you're not just protecting people and property.
Uh-huh.
You're creating an environment where guests can relax, enjoy themselves, and feel genuinely at ease. That's a pretty impactful role to have.
That's a great point to end on. So to our listener out there, best of luck with your interview. I have no doubt that with your dedication and these insights from RoleCatcher, you'll be a fantastic hospitality establishment security officer